Hey, so we're back. Well, I don't know if we're actually back because I have made many attempts to do a video over the past however long I've been away. Um, and guess what? As you may have seen, none of them have made it up. So for me, this is a complete test if this is going up. I don't know. I am so passionate about talking about Jesus, and it's not my job to do that, and it hasn't been for a little while. So I really do miss it, and there aren't as many opportunities as there are to do it. I mean, yeah, obviously talk directly about Jesus, but also just about my life and my faith walk as well. But sometimes it just doesn't feel right, and there may just be a problem with me and how I execute stuff, and not quite saying things right, and then editing it sounds clunky and unnatural, and I think that partly it's just me, and that's fine. So this is an experiment for me to see if this will be the one. Well, maybe it will be, um, but I trust the Holy Spirit. I don't want to over spiritualize things. I think that can happen, and I've done that before, and I think I've seen it happen externally as well. But what I'm trying to say is, if this doesn't make it, it's a good time just for me to reflect and try and speak out some things. And if it does make it, well, great. I hope you enjoy. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, like I say, it's been a long time away, and this is a different style of video. And I think I'm trying to take a different approach with it. Like, it's really the same aim. My relationship with God is such a huge part of my life, and I want to share that with those who are interested, and find it, helpful or whatever, as I do with so many other people on here. People who are much more consistent and regular than me, I might say. But yeah, I think it's a nice thing to contribute to. I feel passionate about it. But it's been really hard over the past year. I have grown up since doing YouTube before, and I do this channel is called Now and Forever because I think it's important to look at our lives now and reflect on how we're living our lives for God and where our heart is for Him, and our lifestyle, and checking in on that, but also not forgetting that it's not all about this world. There's so much more to come, and heaven and eternal relationship with God is really what we're looking at. But I haven't felt in the right place to do that, and to say, oh, it's mental health stuff, is a blanket for that, particularly at the earlier point to when I had a break. Um, but I also don't want to be dismissive with that as well, because you can say it's mental health, but your own personal experience with what that's been like for you is so much more. And sometimes that's really hard to share online, or sometimes it's not appropriate. And for me, it's not, I've not been confident that it has been appropriate. So I've avoided it, or I've given it a go, and then it's not being published. So that's where we're at. And also, oh my gosh, I suppose it's a bit of comparison to other people, but they've got these nice cameras and this nice background, and it's a little bit of a dream for me to have like the perfect YouTube backgrounds and like a whole room just for creativity. Like, I love the when people in their videos like will sit on the end of the bed, and then you've got like quite a depth of space behind them, and then you've got the matching lamps on either side, and a really nice bedspread and bit of artwork, and it's like interesting to look at. I don't have the space for that. I don't have the windows in the right place to have good lighting. I don't have light boxes and whatever. And so I thought, well, you know what? Let's just do a talky one, and I can draw something. I can draw. I can do that. Can I animate? Not particularly. Did I think I could just do loads of drawings that will transition into the next thing and look really nice blended together? Yes. Have I discovered just how long that takes? Yes. And so, it's a slow one. But I'm trying to make it work, and I'm trying to take the pressure off, and also a bit of idolatry potentially of how things look, and try to get around that another way, which is why it is the way that it is. But yeah, like I say, I it's been really hard and really challenging, and I've had to learn a lot and grow a lot throughout a very difficult time, and it's really hard. It's really hard because I feel a big sense of injustice, and like I've been silenced where I've wanted to speak. And I think the thing with YouTube is that when you feel silenced in a lot of your close supportive relationships, it kind of just makes you want to cry out somewhere else. But um, I think I've hesitated there because I think I know it's better to go to your close relationships first, or if not professional relationships, and start there. I think that's the wiser thing to do, and my 2024 resolution is to try and be more wise. Because why not? Why would you not want to be wise? That's my thinking. So I have done some counselling where I've been able to speak more freely, which has definitely been a weight off, or at least at the time it was. But, there's still stuff that I'm working through and talking to God about, and also needing to talk to some more people about. But it's all kind of a work in progress. And what I've found is that I have just built up a resentment and a bitterness towards Christians and the church, which I don't want to at all. But that's just how it happens sometimes, isn't it? Like, you're just a human with feelings, and that's where I've been led because I've not really had closure on what I've been finding difficult, and the reason that I've taken a break. And it happens like when I go to church and people there are so nice and welcoming, and it like always makes me angry, or like my brain's like, oh, they're just so inauthentic, because I don't know, if I just find it so unrelatable that they could be in such a good, secure place that they can pour into other people like that I just think, oh, well, it's obviously fake, isn't it? Or that I want to turn up to, let's say, church feeling like showing my vulnerability. Just, I don't want to put on a front. I don't want to perform. It's really tiring. I've had to do enough of it, because I've felt like it was more professional to do that and less of a conflict of interest to just not talk about things and therefore act like everything is fine. But it's really hard to do that with new people at church. So, I don't want you to think this is my personality, and also you're being really friendly to me, so I want to be friendly back to you. This is not really the time and place to show this vulnerability, but also I want to be authentic to myself and where I'm at, and it's hard and complicated to do. So it's really down to me that I've built up bitterness and resentment. It's not on other people, but I've had those feelings, and that's something that I've been praying through and working through. And because some things are hard to speak about if they're related to people or specific things that have been said, like you can just feel very biased, or like, do people want to listen to this? Are they just gonna think, oh, this is gossip, I don't want to hear this? Creaky chair, flipping egg, I need to like do something about that. I can hear it in my headphones. I think it's much harder to heal when you're not speaking about whatever's going on, and also sometimes more sensitive topics. I find that I've been looking online for resources where other people are talking about it, and it's not really out there in high quantity. I'd love to hear videos from people who've worked in church ministry. I've not found that so much, or I have found one person on Instagram, but I'm not sure about it. So I'm listening to what they're saying, and trying to be understanding, but I'm not sure I'm completely on the same page with them about everything. So I'm unsure there, but I'm trying to say there's not loads out there that I've found, and so I think that's made my process of healing and moving on a bit slower. But then I also relate to why there's not much out there, because it's really difficult to talk about, and you'd have to be really personal and really wise about how you speak, and that's a lot of effort and energy that I don't think I've really had. Or when I've done something and not been confident with how I've executed it, then I've just sort of felt like, oh, that was a lot of energy. I think I'm going to have to wait to rebuild this or give it time to come at it with a new attitude to give it another go. So, that's that. And a lot of things they're taking time to work through. I think some of the answers are, like I say, talking to the right people, and that's been difficult to approach. You've got to think, who is the right person? Do they have time for me? Even when I find the right person, how do I speak about this in a helpful way, with the mindset of moving forward, not just to whinge about stuff and have a moan, but to be constructive in some way, whether that's to go away feeling more peaceful and comforted about it, or to come away with an action plan for what to do to really get things moving on. And I think that opportunity has kind of found me a bit. Just by coincidence, just been approached by someone and then bumped into them again and was like, oh yeah, I really need to get in contact with you. So maybe that's a God thing, who knows. We don't over spiritualize, but we do also appreciate that God works through consequences quite a bit. But that's alright, we don't necessarily need to know the answer, but the opportunity's there, and that's good, so taking up on that. Also, small groups with a church, or whatever name you use for a handful of people from your church that meet regularly to support one another in faith, that seems like a great option. Have I been part of one of these groups? Not really. Tried one once. I think I didn't realise it was a home group until years later, and now I'm like, oh, okay, I think that was an invite for me to join that, and I thought it was just a one-off social. So I think I might have missed that there. Or another one that just like sometimes it's just not the right fit, I think I was a bit of an outlier in terms of my place in life compared to the other women in the group. And so it wasn't a good fit and it closed down anyway. So there you go. And now my issue is my working hours really make it very impossible for that to happen. So again, working on that, talking to work and my church as well about something that might work there. So trying to find a solution, because I really think that's important for speaking about stuff that's difficult, and listening to other people's things as well, and supporting each other. And it's hard without that. I think it's definitely time to really give that a push. So all of this is not new stuff. This stuff's been going on for a long time. But I've really felt inspired and reassured to share about this stuff now. This is going to sound really insensitive, but because of my granny's funeral, but she was a Christian, and my aunts and uncles were doing quite a bit of upfront speaking and tributes at the funeral, and the way they spoke about faith just really inspired me. They were really unashamed and natural and genuine about it, and I really enjoyed that. And the thing over the past year that I was reflecting on at the funeral is that I know that I need to heal from stuff, and I'd say I've got Christian baggage now and feel triggered or whatever. I know some people don't like that word, but whatever non-official term that means something similar, insert here. So I know it will take time, and there'll be some places where I need to almost forgive myself, or, just thinking, oh, well, if I had back then the confidence in myself and my own feelings I do now, then I could have dealt with it in this way, and maybe I let things go too much or whatever. I think some of that just needs to be let go of, and that can be a long journey. But what I learned is that I don't want the importance of my healing to overtake the importance of worshipping God, because so much of my healing, I think I need to remind myself, that can come from just worshipping God. And when you take your eyes off yourself and put it on Him, like at the funeral, we were just like singing these worship songs and whatever, and I found that was actually healing some of the emotional baggage that I have. But at the time you can get really caught up and think, oh, I need to do all this work on myself, and how can I make myself feel better? Well, I'll go on a shopping trip, or I'll go spend an hour praying about it. Like, even stuff that seems, really helpful and definitely can be. I don't want the focus to be there, because I also think I could go and spend an hour doing a Bible study about some random parable that seems to have no link. And actually that's an opportunity where God can help me and heal stuff that I'm dealing with and speak to me. And I don't want to disregard all these opportunities, because I'm starting to become obsessed with all the ways that I think I can help myself. And I just need to be more open to how God can do that for me as well, just by me coming to Him and investing in my overall relationship with Him, rather than just this one aspect of my hurts that I think is the biggest thing. So I'm not going to try and make the perfect video anymore to sort out whatever I'm dealing with, but instead I hope just talking some of this stuff through is helpful to you in any way. And, you know, maybe if I can actually manage to do it, I'll come back with an update at some point, because I really would like to continue talking about faith journey here and stuff. So thanks for being here and listening, and potentially I'll catch you in another one, should I be able to get some words together again enough. Bye.